Hey horror fans, this is Mistress Becca with Fangoria Entertainment. I'm here in Richmond, Virginia at the Slave Pit talking to GWAR.
My name is Bob Gorman, and I'm been in GWAR about 20 years. I'm a performer, a craftsman. I get to make the costumes, design the costumes, play the monsters, play different victims. I'm the shop foreman here at home. I came to VCU and I was sort of disappointed with what they had to offer as far as fine art. I was expecting a little more in the cartoony and monstery things, which are accepted now, but at the time it was kind of against what they were going for. I saw GWAR and they were pretty in their infancy, but that was when I saw that I was like, that's really more the thing that I want to do. Some people think that what we use is foam latex, but we use latex and foam because foam latex is mainly Hollywood type thing. It's stretchy, but it's not as durable. So what we do is we paint like regular straight up rubber in the molds and then cast a two-part foam behind it.
Where do you draw some of your horror influence from?
Mostly stuff that, there's the classic stuff, but GWAR is mainly, in my opinion, a product of the 80s. By and large, Evil Dead 2 is probably one of the biggest influences because it's horror, but it's cartoony and it's hilarious, and it's a loving horror movie, but it's also making fun of horror movies, which is how I feel GWAR acts on two levels. We love metal, we love theater, but we make fun of it.
From the sun, from the east, from the west, all around, so fate's die is cast.
My name is Matt McGuire, and I've been in GWAR about close to 19 years now, and I'm one of the lead fabricators, designers. Get to play a lot of the characters on stage.
How do you go about selecting current events? What are you going to tackle? Who are you going to kill on stage?
It's just usually who's in the press, and then especially if society has a bite for them, we'll go after them even harder. We draw on each other's strengths. And Don Draculich, who plays Sleazy P. Martini, he's a really good caricaturist. So like he'll do the sculpture, and then he'll either pass it on to one of us to mold it or cast it. It kind of goes like that. We kind of all trade off with each other because some of us are better at making monsters and some of us are better at creating, understructures and things like that. So we kind of work with each other in that capacity.
How does the whole creation process come about?
It's usually, people get an idea of because we have our mythos, and then we just pick spots in the mythos where we go, oh, well, we need to fill in this blank, or we need to come up with this, and then how do we get Obama and McCain and all those guys into something. Oh, we'll do a wrestling show. It'll be a death match, So it just kind of builds from there, And then we add our own characters. Like we have the Destructos come out and steal the belts, and the belts, for some reason, control everything on the planet, So, it's like that's where it just builds and builds and builds. We just kind of, and that's the cool thing about working in the collective is that you can bring an idea to the table and then fit it in somewhere where everybody's got their own idea.
If this evil force can be stopped and destroyed before actual nuclear war begins, then the universe will be saved.
I'm Dave Brockie, and I play Odorous Urungus, GWAR's utterly foul lead singer. That's Gorgor, yeah. That's Scott Crawl, Gorgor.
Hello.
One of the Slayers as well. He's our spew master. He kind of controls the flow of the filth.
So just coming off a 64.
Is it 64?
That's what I've heard.
69.
69? Wow.
That's a sexier number anyway.
It is. Are you guys tired from that?
Not really. I didn't even stop. I had to go pick some friends up at the airport the next day, and then it was Christmas time, and it's just like, ugh. But yesterday I did sleep for 20 hours straight, so yeah, I think I'm finally rested up.
So I was talking with some of your slaves about some of the costumes that you wear on stage. Now, these look incredibly heavy. What's it like to wear those on stage and play instruments at the same time?
I don't know. I mean, you're right. It's insanely heavy. My costume's really heavy, and I don't know how I do it. And then I picked up ball sack shoulder pads the other day. Jesus Christ. It's like, you got to be crazy or on drugs. Actually, I've got it easy. As lead singer, I got it easy. I don't have to wear this. So, but it's just like, it's like shooting, really the way I kind of keep it like in a place in my mind where I can reference it. It's like kind of like a football game. Kind of like getting ready for a football game.
How do you gear yourself up for the shows?
2 Jaeger bombs.
How do you guys come up with your ideas of what you're going to tackle at that time?
It's pretty easy. We just turn on the TV and watch the news and see who's most famous and most deserved to die, and we hit them. And then we just like once we've got our media figures, we kind of build the GWAR into the story around it. Well, why is GWAR killing these people? What else is GWAR up to? And we bust together a rude facsimile of a plot, and then do it on stage. This last tour was great because we finally added full rear screen video projection, which really brought us to a new place in being able to tell the story, and went really great. And that's going to continue on into the next year's epic that we're getting ready to start designing right now. So there's nothing I consider taboo. It's like my idea of what is obscene and disturbing is much different than most people, and I think I'm right.
There was once a heartfelt discussion or controversy over Have You Seen Me, because we thought moms of abused children would sue us for making fun of that. But that seemed like a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
And everyone got past it,
We don't do it. We don't do it irresponsibly. It's not like we just look for things that are shocking and do them just for the sake of that. But it was hard for some people to stomach Odorous, having sex with John Benet Ramsey. She was horrible. She comes right up to Odorous, she's like, she's got her little princess thing and her little wand, and she goes, ding, and hits his big cock, and he just blows this huge load on her. It's just horrible. And then, this woman from some New York paper was, interviewing Odorous about the show, and she's like, how could you do that? I mean, when you do that thing with John Benet, what is it that you feel? I'm like, laughter. And so that's true, though. I do think it's hilarious, and
So what have been some of your most controversial moments?
I guess the time that we got busted in Charlotte for onstage obscenity was the biggest problem we've ever had, because I was the one that had to go to jail, which blew. But we worked all that out.
The cops come backstage. Which one was the priest? And he was already out of costume. Oh, we didn't have a priest. But that man there, I recognize him. He was still halfway in costume.
They're like, "Hey, Dave." I turn around, I've taken off everything except the big dick. So I look worse than I normally do, I'm like, hey, they take a picture of me. I'm like, whoa, that's a cop taking a picture of me. And then later they're like, this is the evidence. And they just hold up this picture, and it's a picture of me standing there totally naked except for this giant cuttlefish of Cthulhu waving at the camera.
They confiscated it, and we should have gotten it back after winning the case. But
we never did. We didn't win the case, though. We plea bargained. I had to plea bargain. And I was really bent up about it, and Jello was mad at me because I plea bargained. He's like, Rocky, don't take that shit. I'm like, damn it. They were threatening to deport me and crap, so I had to play ball with them. Actually, because I'm a Canadian citizen, but but we've always been stirring it up. They wouldn't even let us into Canada for 6 years. They took things off. A lot of times when they try to censor you and it gets back to you and the label will be like, we don't want to change the record, or the band will be like, we don't want to change the record, and then the manufacturers will change the record anyway. They don't give a shit about what we think about it, so you'll get all these different weird versions of records and that's one of the biggest problems I have with censorship. Is you're totally and not just taking out what you think is naughty about the artist's work, you're taking out very important parts of the whole story. It doesn't make, when you start taking out things like that, when you have executives or politicians editing art, fuck that. That's something really wrong. And so we try to be provocative in that way, to pick a fight like that. And they pretty much figured out, I think now, that if they just leave us alone, they figured out they're giving us lots of free publicity by fucking with us. And, that's going to backfire on them totally, because one day we're going to do something that's just so fucked up.
Where have you drawn inspiration from the horror world?
Well, Scott and I, just right off the bat, Scotty, we were huge George Romero and Night of the Living Dead zombie fans.
Yeah. And I love Monty Python's Afternoon of Tennis, Sam Peckinpah.
Yeah, I think it was a takeoff on Sam Peckinpah film. It was called Salad Days. Yeah.
I say, anyone for tennis? Oh, super! What fun! I say, Lionel, catch!
That was the beginning of my spew career.
Monty Python when people are like, "What's GWAR like?" I'm like, it's kind of like a Kiss meets Monty Python, on crack. Scott and I have been together forever on this project because we used to work together in a band called Death Piggy, which was a little three-piece, funny core, silly punk band at the very beginning of hardcore. And I met a collective of artists that was led by a guy named Hunter Jackson, who was building sets and costumes for a thing called Scumdogs in the Universe. And we go in there after Death Piggy practice, and one day somebody hit upon the idea of just Death Piggy borrowing these outfits that Hunter was working on and doing a stupid band. that was actually called GWAR. And we didn't even play songs. We would just stand there and go, yeah. We had really bad dialogue. It was hilarious. And it just like started blowing up from the first show. People were just like, what the hell? After 3 shows with Death Piggy, everyone would just watch the GWAR part of the show. We'd open up for ourselves, right? We'd do GWAR first, and then they'd all leave. You know, it'd be like, so GWAR, Death Piggy was like, eh. So they stopped happening pretty quick. It took a while for these bands to die. In fact, it took a long time for GWAR to get a good outfit together, because we always had great artists, but it took a while to get a lot of good musicians in there, because we were regarded as a complete joke. And indeed it was at first, but we were starting to get serious about it, sort of, at least to the point where, you know, we started realizing we can rock as hard as anybody else, and we can do some real damage with this thing. Let's go ahead and put all of our time and effort into it. It's great entertainment. Nobody can deny that GWAR is hilarious, and we're consistently hilarious, and everybody knows GWAR is like a holiday for most people. They look forward to that one time a year when they get to see GWAR. That's like a big part of their year. They're like, they plan their whole lives around it, and so do we. It's like, you know, it's just like, GWAR. We don't even have a label right now. We're just doing everything on our own. And our last tour was the biggest tour we've ever done in the United States. So it's like, the longer we go, the more people are giving us just mad respect, and more pressure is building behind GWAR. And sooner or later, something's gonna pop that just takes it to the stratosphere. And everyone who supported GWAR all these years will be part of that. And it'll be a very sweet moment. I don't know what it'll be. Maybe it'll be a video game. Maybe we'll finally get a movie out, a GWAR horror movie, you know, something like that. But, you know, it's gonna keep going on. And it's just like a slow, relentless assault. And sooner or later, you know, we'll have complete triumph. And if not, then our children will pick up the sword and follow in our wake, you know? GWAR will go for 1,000 years.
Because we got to breed a new...
We'll breed replacements. And we've always said that. I've been dead serious about it. I think, you know, this is a family business, like Walt Disney.
So, can we get any clues as to what you guys might be planning in the next couple of tours? Like, what are you planning on in the next? Can we get any
No,
clues here?
we would be killed. Our masters would devour our flesh for weeks and still let us live just to torture us more if we divulged anything except the fact that the rumor is that GWAR, finally, in this great 25th anniversary, GWAR will finally achieve their ultimate goal. Which, that's all I'm going to say. They will achieve their ultimate goal.
If you know what it is.
You know what that is, then you know what it is. GWAR will finally achieve their ultimate goal in the 25th year. Whether they can hold on to their triumph remains to be seen. But what has GWAR always wanted to do? What have they always wanted to do? Okay, I'm not going to say.